All right, so we're finally tackling this slight edge thing.
Yeah.
People seem to love this Jeff Olson guy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, even just these excerpts, it's a lot.
It's dense.
Yeah, definitely did.
But that's usually a good sign, right?
I guess so.
Like, you gotta dig for the really good stuff.
True.
It's not always gonna be easy.
Okay, I gotta ask, though.
Yeah.
All the testimonials at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. They're inspiring and everything.
Right?
It's just a lot of, this book changed my life.
So,
This book is amazing.
I see what you mean.
Like, we get it. People like the book.
It's like, come on already.
Yeah. Is that really necessary?
Yeah.
All that stuff at the start?
Well, they're clearly trying to, like, leverage something with that.
What do you mean?
It's like that everyone else is doing it kind of thing. Oh, interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
like if enough people are saying how great something is,
Yeah.
you're more likely to be like, well, maybe I should check this out.
It's that social proof thing, right?
Exactly.
Like, maybe I'm missing out if I don't at least try to get this slight edge philosophy.
Yeah, and that's often how we end up making big changes, right?
Totally. A little bit of curiosity and a little bit of FOMO.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
All right, so let's actually get into it.
Let's do it.
One of the first things that jumped out at me
Yeah.
was this idea that it's not about huge changes.
Okay.
It's more like the little things you do consistently
Mhm.
that actually make the difference.
The small stuff adds up.
Exactly. And he uses that analogy of pennies.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Like individually, they're basically worthless,
Right.
but get enough of them.
It starts to mean something.
And it's that accumulation over time.
Yes. And he connects that to compound interest,
Ooh, that's good.
which is smart because we usually think of that with money, right?
Totally.
But he's saying it applies to everything. Skills, relationships, your knowledge.
Wow.
It's like those small, consistent actions.
Yeah.
They're like deposits into your success account.
I like that success account.
Gotta keep making those deposits.
That's such a good way to look at it.
Good,
Instead of
yeah.
freaking out,
Yeah.
trying to change everything overnight.
Overwhelm City.
It's like, okay, what's one small thing I can do today?
Exactly.
One little deposit into that account.
It's like building that habit of success one tiny step at a time.
Love it.
And that actually ties into something else he talks about.
Okay.
That contrast between the paths to success and failure.
Yes, that part was powerful.
It's all about these little choices we're making every single day.
And we don't even realize it half the time.
It's like we're on autopilot.
Totally.
And those choices, they're either moving us closer to what we want.
Or further away.
Exactly.
And it's often the little things that we don't even think about that really sabotage us.
Yes. And that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
Because this is where it gets really real for people.
Oh, yeah.
What are those little habits
Oh,
that you're doing every single day that could be holding you back?
man, you're not going to make me actually list them out, are you?
Maybe. But
Yeah.
seriously, think about it. Are you hitting snooze instead of going for that run?
Ouch, that one hit a little close to home. See, this is why I needed this deep dive.
Right.
It's so easy to get caught up in just going through the motions.
And you don't even realize those tiny choices are adding up.
Exactly. Until one day you wake up and you're like, how did I get
Like,
here?
Olson doesn't let us off easy either.
What do you mean?
He talks about how most people, even if they want to be successful,
Right.
they end up on that path to failure because they're not paying attention to these small choices.
It's like they don't even realize it's happening.
Exactly. It's like they're on a ship that's slowly veering off course.
Oh, man.
And they don't even realize it until they're miles away from where they want it to be.
And at that point, it's not a quick fix.
Okay.
Turning a ship around takes a long time.
Speaking of ships,
Oh, yeah. He uses that analogy
right, the cruise ship.
with all that momentum.
Yeah, it takes a huge radius to turn that thing around.
Such a powerful image.
It really makes you think about the effort involved in breaking those negative patterns.
And building positive ones, too.
Absolutely. It all takes time and consistent effort.
It's like trying to change direction when you're already going full speed ahead,
Right, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
you need a lot of space and time to make those adjustments.
which I guess is the whole point of the slight edge.
It is, yeah. It's about those small course corrections we make along the way.
Instead of waiting until we're totally off track.
Exactly. And the good news is,
Yeah.
he actually gives us some really great examples of this stuff working in real life.
Oh, yeah. I loved all the stories he told.
Me too.
Like, it's one thing to talk about these principles in theory.
Totally. But then to hear about how they've actually played out in people's lives.
Yeah. It makes it feel so much more real and attainable.
Exactly. And it's not just like CEOs and entrepreneurs either.
He talks about everyday people.
Yeah. Like that woman who lost over 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah, that story was amazing.
Right. And it wasn't like some crazy crash diet or anything.
Just small, sustainable changes over time.
Exactly. Proving that this stuff really works.
It's so inspiring.
It really is. And what I also appreciate is that he doesn't just focus on like weight loss or money.
Right, he talks about relationships, too.
Yeah. Personal growth, creativity even.
It shows how this slight-edge philosophy can apply to pretty much anything.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all formula.
It's more like a universal principle.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you can adapt to your own goals and your own definition of success.
So it's not about trying to copy someone else's path.
Right. It's about figuring out what those pennies are in your own life.
Yeah, and then committing to those small deposits day after day.
Exactly. And you know what else he emphasizes?
What's that?
The importance of always learning and growing.
Oh, yeah. Sharpening the axe.
Yes. I love that analogy because it's easy to get so caught up in the doing
Totally.
that we forget to also focus on improving our skills and knowledge.
Like, we need to make sure we're using the best tools for the job.
Exactly. And for Olson, that means never stop learning.
So it's not enough to just be consistent.
Right. You got to be learning and growing along the way.
But it doesn't have to be anything crazy intense either, right?
Nope. He actually recommends just reading for 15 minutes a day.
See, that feels doable.
Exactly. You don't need to get a PhD.
Just find small ways to fit learning into your routine.
Exactly. Even just listening to this deep dive is a great start.
Haha. There you go.
But seriously, those little bits of knowledge, they add up over time.
Just like those pennies.
Exactly.
Huh.
So to recap,
Okay, let's bring it all together.
we're talking about those slight edge principles of consistent action.
Even when it feels small or insignificant.
Right. And continuous learning to keep that momentum going.
It's about making those deposits into our success account every single day.
You got it. But it's not just about blindly following some rules.
Right. It's about understanding the why behind it all.
Exactly. And then figuring out how to make it work for you in your life.
So we're basically creating our own little success roadmaps.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to a really interesting question.
Oh, yeah.
Olson asks, what if you could increase your efforts in something by just 1% each day?
1%.
Yeah, just 1%.
That doesn't seem like much.
Right. But think about it.
Uh-oh.
What would happen if you did that every single day for a year?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would probably add up to something pretty significant.
Exactly. That's the whole point of the slight edge.
Small, consistent actions leading to big results.
Yes. It's not about some magic formula or making these huge overnight changes.
It's about showing up consistently.
Yes. Even when it feels like you're not making a difference.
And trusting that those small efforts will add up over time.
Exactly. Because they will.
It's like those times when you step back and look at how far you've come.
Right.
You're like, wow, how did I even do that?
Exactly. It's usually not one big thing.
It's all those little things.
Yes. All those small, consistent actions that you did day after day.
They eventually add up to something amazing.
Exactly. And that's what I want you to take away from this deep dive.
Yes. Don't underestimate the power of the small stuff.
Because it's not small. It's everything.
I love that.
You already have the knowledge you need to make a change.
Right, from those excerpts.
Exactly. Now it's just about putting it into action.
So for someone listening right now,
Yeah.
feeling inspired but maybe a little overwhelmed,
Totally understandable.
what's one small step they can take today to start applying this?
Start with something small and manageable.
Okay.
Like maybe committing to a 15-minute walk each day.
Okay.
Or finally organizing that drawer you've been avoiding.
Something that's been on your to-do list forever.
Exactly. The point is to just start.
Because those small actions create momentum.
Exactly. And that momentum is what will keep you going.
It's about trusting the process
Yes.
and enjoying the journey.
It's not always going to be easy.
True, but every step forward is a victory.
Exactly. So remember the power to change your life.
It's already in your hands.
Yes. Embrace the slight edge.
And watch as those tiny gains transform your life.
You got this.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the slight edge.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep those pennies adding up, and remember, even the smallest actions can create extraordinary results.